And welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Monday, March 25th. I am the host for today's program, Paul Demain, and many of the stories right here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com, and here are some of those news stories for the day. Lori Piestewa, the first female soldier who died during the invasion of Iraq, was being remembered this last weekend. Family and friends gathered first on March 22nd at the Oath Room at the U.S. Military Processing Station in Phoenix, as it was dedicated in her honor. Saturday, March 23rd, followed with a special sunrise service. Piestewa was a member of the Hopi tribe and a native of Tuba City. She and others were taken captive when their convoy was attacked in Nizaria on March 23, 2003. She later died from her injuries. Three members of the Piestewa's unit, Joe Hudson, Shoshana Johnson, and Jessica Lynch, joined her family for the dedication ceremony. Her mother, Percy, tells Phoenix television station KPNX that the three veterans are all part of their family. She says she's proud the group has been able to connect and help each other heal. Two Southwest tribes are moving closer to securing radio stations that others in Indian country have turned to for emergency alerts, health tips, the latest rodeo news, traditional stories, and language lessons. Tribes hold less than 1% of the roughly 15,200 radio station licenses issued by the Federal Communications Commission, a figure the Commission has been trying to boost through a rule that it approved in 2010 to give federally recognized tribes priority in the application process and help preserve language and culture. Earlier this month, the FCC set aside the first two FM allotments under its tribal radio priority for the Hualapai tribe in northwestern Arizona and Navajo Technical College in northwestern New Mexico. The tribe and the college, owned by the Navajo Nation, are now waiting for the FCC to open a filing window so they can secure construction permits and build their stations. The Kansas Supreme Court has ordered state revenue officials to reinstate the driver's license of a man arrested for drunken driving on an Indian reservation. The court ruled last week that the Kansas law allowed the Department of Revenue to suspend the license of drivers with certain blood alcohol levels only applies to arrests made by officers of the state on roadways in the state. The ruling came in a case of an enrolled member of the Prairie Band Potawatomi Nation arrested for DUI by a tribal officer on the northeast Kansas reservation. Normally, the state would not have learned of the arrest, but the tribal officer, for some reason, sent a report to the Revenue Department. The Supreme Court ruled the Revenue Department had no role in the case because the reservation is on sovereign land. Language tucked into Republican Governor Scott Walker's executive budget would bar hunters from killing wolves at night, eliminating one of the most contentious elements of Wisconsin's wolf hunt regulations. The provisions come as Wisconsin's Chippewa tribes are fighting in federal court for permission to set up a night deer hunt in northern Wisconsin. State wildlife officials contend night deer hunting is far too dangerous, but the tribes maintain they're entitled to a night hunt since non-tribal hunters can now kill wolves after dark. They believe eliminating the night wolf hunt is designed to nullify one of their strongest legal arguments. It appears to be an attempt to influence this federal court litigation that's ongoing between the state and tribe, said Charlie Rasmussen, a spokesman for the Great Lakes Indian Fish and Wildlife Commission, which oversees the Chippewa Band's off-reservation rights. He declined further comment. A northwestern Wisconsin Chippewa tribe has started raising money for a possible lawsuit challenging a giant iron mine near their reservation. The Bad River Band of Lake Superior Chippewa has set up a link on the tribe's website that allows visitors to donate directly to the tribe. The site also lists an address for mailing checks. The link features a headline that reads, "Help us prevent mining in the Bad River watershed by donating today." Gogebic Taconite wants to dig an open-pit mine just south of the tribe's Ashland County reservation. Republican lawmakers passed a law earlier this month loosening the state's mining regulations and environmental safeguards to help the company. Tribal members fear pollution from the mine will contaminate the entire Bad River watershed and destroy the wild rice and walleye spawning grounds that feed the tribe. Meanwhile, a jam-packed meeting on the Red Cliff Ojibwe Reservation on March 22nd called to view the documentary Lighting the Seventh Fire, a film produced during the turbulent 1980 spearfishing protests, reminded elders, tribal members, and area residents of the impact the lack of dialogue and communication can lead to. A panel of impassioned speakers heard residents question what the next move will be in regard to both mining and harvest rights in a poisoned atmosphere of misinformation by mainstream press and a Wisconsin DNR secretary negotiating with tribes through the front pages of the Milwaukee Journal and other state newspapers. Critical of Wisconsin DNR Secretary Catherine Stepp for accusing the tribes of declaring a 100% take of walleye in northern Wisconsin lakes, speakers pointed out that this 100% represents just 6% of the total lake population of any lake designated for spearing. According to tribal spokesmen, the tribes have declared they will take approximately 60,000 walleye this year rather than the 54,000 declared last year, having released 6,000 walleyes out of the tribe's 50% allocation to treaty fishers in order to appease sports fishermen with a 3 rather than a 2 daily bag limit. Since nobody seemed to appreciate the gesture nor gave the tribes credit for giving up the walleye, Lac du Flambeau chairman Tom Olson said that tribal citizens can put the fish to better use on the kitchen table. A group of women and men walked a pail of water from Tyler Forks River in the Pinocchio Range, the site of the proposed open pit mine, to the Red Cliff meeting in order to declare that everything they do in the next days, months, and years will be on behalf of assuring that the water is kept clean by not allowing a potential open pit mine to ever open.
We had a little bit of a late start, and you know, it's really, I feel really grateful for that applause, but there are also women who are still walking out there today along the Mississippi River. And they started in the beginning of that river, at the headwaters of it. They're about 2 o'clock this afternoon. They were 20 miles north of Dubuque, Iowa. And those are our sisters who will go all the way to the Gulf of Mexico, to New Orleans, to join those waters, the water from the head of that river to that place where it is no longer living. We feel, I feel very grateful and for being able to do this work, because I know there are women out there, people out there who are not even able to stand or walk. And I see them, and I think as long as I can walk, as long as I can stand, I will do this work for the people. With that, I want to say chimigwech to all these women, all these men who helped make this possible from just a thought 3 days ago. So with that, I want to pass this microphone over to my sister, Piestewa.
Bonjour, Piestewa indigenous cause, Nimigizi Lodem, Mashkizi being Bujiba, Anishna Bekwe, Gaye Mide Wanakwenda, Nina Sway Mideo, Jagnash Moen Kongi. I want to say a lot of Chimigwechwe Dante, a lot of people here. But today, when my sister told me the plan, last night, that we were to be up at 6 o'clock, and she already had rounded up a bunch of women that committed. It came together. The Creator, the Spirit was truly with us today. They truly led this walk today. And we called our sister here, Kathy Griffiths, or Kathy Holmes is her maiden name. Her mother and her grandmother and her great-grandmother are from Bad River. And we called her to ask her to bring this staff out. And this staff here, that's right to the left of me, is 150 years old. It is the Bad River Anishinaabe Kwe Eagle staff. And it's the evident truth that we know that our great-grandmothers thought about us, this generation, the 7th generation, to move what they left behind forward. And so today, when we were on our walk, when we started out, we reminded one another and each other's in a good way, in that good loving way, as they did, as they worked to make this staff. We know that our great-grandmothers held this staff and prayed and walked for us. And they knew that someday that we were going to pick this work up. And so we committed today that every step we take today is for the next 7 generations. That mind will not go there.
And that is another roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. Thank you for joining with us, and come back again soon.